For those of you who don't know me, I'm Steve. I was at university with Chris, and tonight I have the pleasure of being his best man. I didn't already have enough material. Chris bursting into tears every second today has just helped me even more. But before I start the speech, I just want to make something clear. Today's going to be a rather high-profile affair. So there's going to be no toilet humour. I'm not going to go for any cheap, easy shots at Chris's expense. So there's certain things I'm not going to discuss. So first of all, I'm not going to make light of the fact. At a very early age, Chris lost all his hair. Even though the light was bouncing off his head now, it really distracted me, I'm going to ignore it. Not a problem. Also, I'm not going to talk about how tight he is. It's not appropriate. I'm going to leave it. Even though when he was trying to get this venue, his approach was very aggressive. So he was negotiating with a company. It was actually already quite a cheap price, but he was really aggressive and managed to get it down even further. Sorry, when I say company, I mean registered charity. This is actually run by a registered charity for children with disadvantaged backgrounds. So, a couple of kids may not read this year, but Chris got an amazing road bike, so he's alright. I'm also not going to talk about how much of an accountant he is. It's quite embarrassing, we all know it. We try to gloss over that fact. I actually met up with him last Saturday, and we were sitting in the pub, and I asked him if there's anything he wished he'd achieved before he got married, if there's anything he wished he'd experienced. And he turned to me and he said he just wished he had the opportunity to fully reconcile his spreadsheet of wedding costs to actuals. It's quite embarrassing. And last of all, I'm not going to talk about his drinking stamina, or lack of drinking stamina. There's just so many stories that just wouldn't be appropriate for today. I'm not going to bring up the fact we had to have his stag do 3 months advance today, just so he'd recovered in time. I don't know, I'm not going to talk about the first time he met Ian's girlfriend Jane. Instead of giving her a hug, he was too busy hugging her toilet. Pulled together any words. I'm not going to talk about the time I think he mistook Lucy's wardrobe for a toilet, is that right? All the time he mistook a toilet and an igloo. That's a completely different story. Provided that's all clear, I will begin. So it's about this time a year ago or so, I got a call from Chris. And he asked me what were my thoughts on marriage. I paused, thought about it, and I explained to him that whilst I was flattered, he just wasn't my type. But he clarified, he said that he'd proposed to Lucy and he'd like me to be his best man. Obviously I was honoured, said yes straight away. Hung up the phone and I was filled with this enormous sense of pride, which must have lasted for at least 6 seconds, where I was gripped with anxiety and fear. And fear because, well, I kept on asking myself the same question. I'm sure you guys were asking the same question as well. Why rush into it? Sure, you've been together for 10 years. I lived together 9 of those 10 years. Owned 2 properties. Just felt like a crazy whirlwind romance to me, and I just felt right ahead of him, thrown it away. So I called Chris back, and I explained my concerns. And he clarified again, and he said that actually 10 years is an incredibly long time to make it go away. That you've been a big coward, and that because of your hair situation, you couldn't wait any longer. But so that made me feel more relaxed, and I actually started to feel relief. Relief because if you waited much longer, I wouldn't have blamed you all today if you'd mistook me and Chris for the Mitchell brothers up here. Once thinner as well. So, Christopher Michael Pearson, this is your life. Born 15th of March, 1982. Then just a short 18 years later, 2 very significant things would happen. First of all, you start going for the same haircut that you had when you were born. material that's helping me so much. And secondly, he met me. And I'd just like to talk you through that first meeting. It was actually my very first day of university. It was the late summer of the year 2000. The world had successfully survived the Y2K millennium bug. U2 were #1 with this beautiful day. As you can imagine, pretty special time to be alive. Even more so for me, Chris and Lucy, who were all starting our degrees at UEA. And so it was my first day. I was walking to my first lecture. I had no idea where I was going. It was this big concrete jungle that UEA is. And all I could see was these young, prepubescent teenagers walking around, not a brain cell between them. And suddenly in the distance, I saw this mature, bald man confidently striding towards me. And I went up to him and I assumed the handyman would be able to help me. It wasn't the handyman, it was Chris. And I explained I was going to Lecture Theatre 2. Did he know where this was? And incredibly, he was going to the same place. He pulled out his wallet, and inside it was a post-it note with directions exactly where we needed to go. Little did I know what a rarity that would be for him to freely pull a note out of his wallet. So we started walking to this lecture theatre, and it turned out we had a lot in common. So we're living 1 block away from each other in the village, which is part of the campus. We're doing exactly the same course, which we'll be doing for the next 3 years. We're both really into sport, not so much into cultural stuff, and also big into drinking, so hit it off from day one. I was sitting there in that first lecture, and you know that feeling you have when you feel like you really know someone, but you've only just met them. And I was racking my brain, I was like, why is this so familiar? And it came to me at the end of the lesson. I was a massive fan of The Simpsons at the time, and we're getting Chris and Mr. Burns confused. But anyhow, so the first year, like I said, we got on great. We really hit it off. A lot of time playing sport, playing PlayStation, rarely going to lectures. Something that I've never succeeded at, disappointingly. I tried to teach Chris how to drink. Never worked. No. So it came to the end of the first year, and we were trying to decide who would live with who, and obviously me and Chris would be in the same flat share. Start the second year. Similar pattern followed. I think Chris might have perhaps doubled his drinking stamina. I think he could handle 2 pints at that point, so slight improvement. Then when it came to the end of the second year, something very significant would happen. We just finished our last exam, and a friend of ours, Andy, mentioned that there was an end of exam IT party, the IT department, and we should go and head to it. And that was the moment when Chris and Lucy first lighted eyes on each other. Pretty magical. I don't know if you guys know Sleepless in Seattle, that moment when Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan first laid eyes on each other. Just like that. If Tom Hanks had about 6 pints of snake bite. They say love is blind. The only explanation I can come up with is Lucy must have been blind drunk. I really don't get it. But Lucy, if love is blind, marriage is going to be an eye-opener. So good luck with Chris, you need it. You're a really great girl, and you deserve a great guy. Sadly, I didn't know that at the time when you got with Chris. So but it's my role today to insult Chris. I'm the best man, and I have to be honest, he is a great guy. I couldn't wish for a better friend. He's always been there for me. He's always been there for me, and he's, you know, when you need someone, he knows what to say. And conversely, when you want a good night out, you're guaranteed a good night. Well, up to a certain point when his drinking step and then catch up with him. He's urinating in your wardrobe and he's sick somewhere, then it's kind of the night's over. But what else can I say? He's sorry, embarrassing. He's intelligent. Yeah, intelligent. Charming. Sorry, mate, I can't read your writing. What's the last one? No, in all seriousness, I'm very proud to be Chris's best man today, and I'm really proud to say both of you are my friends. I've known you guys from the start of your relationship, and I'm really impressed the way it's involved and the way it's developed. There's not a joke here, this is serious. And I'm really proud of the way you two guys are, and I think you work really well for each other and are better people because you're with each other. Got no tears! That's guaranteed. That's just about it. One last thing. The observant ones in the room would have noticed the projector screen here. Chris saw it as soon as he came in the room, and he's just been sitting there crapping himself. It was the first time. But, that's actually a very nice present, which a lot of people in the room have put a lot of effort to work towards and come together. What we'll do is we'll let people go to the toilet, bring their desserts out, and then I'll just pop that on. So for now, can I just get everyone to raise their glass for the bride and groom?